Welcome to Mind Decoded, where we explore the psychology behind human behavior. Let's decode today's topic. Your heart pounds, your muscles tense, your breathing quickens, you feel an overwhelming urge to either attack the threat, run from it, or completely shut down. This isn't a conscious choice. This is your autonomic nervous system taking control. Neuroscientist Stephen Porges' research shows that fight, flight, or freeze responses happen automatically, below conscious awareness, triggered by a brain region that prioritizes survival over rationality. You can't think your way out of this response. Your thinking brain isn't in charge. Your survival brain is. Here's what actually triggers these responses. Your amygdala constantly scans your environment for threats. This happens unconsciously, continuously. When it detects danger, real or perceived, it sends an immediate signal to your hypothalamus. Your hypothalamus activates your sympathetic nervous system. Within milliseconds, your adrenal glands release adrenaline and cortisol. Your body shifts into survival mode. This entire cascade happens before your prefrontal cortex, your rational thinking brain, even finishes processing what's happening. By the time you consciously recognize the situation, your body has already chosen fight, flight, or freeze. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer. This content is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered medical, psychological, or mental health advice. If you're experiencing mental health concerns, please consult with a qualified mental health professional. Fight response means confronting the threat. Your body prepares for combat. Blood flows to your major muscle groups. Your pupils dilate for better vision. Your hearing sharpens. Pain tolerance increases. Adrenaline provides a surge of energy and strength. Psychologist Walter Cannon first described this response in the early 1900s. He found that animals facing predators either fight or flee. Humans work the same way. When your brain determines the threat is something you can overpower or defeat, fight activates. You feel anger, aggression, the impulse to attack. This isn't rational evaluation. It's automatic threat assessment. Flight response means escaping the threat. Your body prepares to run. Heart rate increases dramatically to pump blood to your legs. Breathing accelerates to maximize oxygen. Glucose floods your bloodstream for quick energy. Non-essential systems like digestion shut down to redirect resources to muscles. You feel overwhelming urgency to get away. Neuroscientist LeDoux's research shows the flight response can activate so quickly that you're moving before you consciously decide to move. You jump back from a snake before you realize it's a snake. The survival instinct bypasses conscious processing because speed matters more than accuracy when survival is at stake. Freeze response is less understood but equally important. When fight and flight aren't options, freeze activates. Psychologist Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory explains this. Freeze isn't just fear paralysis. It's a distinct survival strategy. Your body becomes immobile. Heart rate drops. Breathing slows. You feel disconnected from your body. This response evolved because some predators are triggered by movement. If you can't fight or flee, becoming still might make you less noticeable. In modern contexts, freeze happens during overwhelming threat. Assault victims often freeze. It's not weakness or consent. It's an involuntary neurobiological response to inescapable danger. The Fawn response is a fourth option recently recognized. Psychologist Pete Walker identified this pattern. Fawning means appeasing the threat. You become cooperative, agreeable, eager to please. This evolved for social threats where the danger comes from a more powerful member of your group. Fighting would get you killed. Fleeing would get you exiled. Freezing would make you a target. Fawning might diffuse the threat. You see this in abusive relationships. The victim becomes hyper-accommodating. This isn't choice. It's survival strategy activated by a brain trying to minimize harm when other options aren't available. Your brain chooses the response based on threat assessment. Psychologist Gilbert's research on threat systems shows this happens unconsciously. Your brain evaluates. Can I overpower this? Fight. Can I escape this? Flight. Is this inescapable? Freeze or fawn? This evaluation considers physical size, power dynamics, escape routes, social context. It happens in milliseconds. You don't consciously decide. Your amygdala and brainstem decide for you based on pattern matching to past experiences and evolutionary programming. The response that historically provided the best survival odds in similar situations activates automatically. These responses are adaptive for immediate physical threats. If a car swerves toward you, you don't deliberate. You jump out of the way. Flight saves your life. If someone attacks you physically, you don't analyze. You fight back. Fight protects you. The problem is, these responses activate for psychological threats that don't require physical action. Your boss criticizes your work. Your body activates fight or flight. Your heart races. Your muscles tense. But you can't actually fight your boss or run out of the meeting. The physiological response is the same as if you're facing a predator, but the appropriate behavioral response is completely different. You need to listen calmly and respond professionally. But your body is screaming at you to attack or escape. The mismatch between ancient responses and modern threats creates problems. Psychologist Robert Sapolsky explains that humans uniquely activate stress responses to purely psychological threats. A zebra doesn't worry about next month's mortgage. Humans do. We trigger fight or flight over emails, deadlines, social rejection, financial stress. Our bodies mobilize resources for physical action that never comes. We sit in traffic with cortisol flooding our system, preparing to fight or flee, but we can't do either. We just sit there, physiologically activated with no outlet. This chronic activation damages health. Cardiovascular system, immune system, digestive system. All compromised by stress responses designed for brief physical threats, not sustained psychological pressure. Trauma changes how these responses activate. Psychologist Bessel van der Kolk's research shows that traumatized individuals have overactive threat detection systems. Their amygdala is hypervigilant. Neutral stimuli trigger survival responses. A loud noise, a certain smell, a facial expression. The brain pattern matches to past trauma and activates fight, flight, or freeze even when there's no current danger. This is why trauma survivors seem to overreact to minor things. They're not overreacting. Their nervous system is responding to a perceived threat their conscious mind doesn't recognize. The response is appropriate to what their brain detected. The problem is the detection system is miscalibrated. You can't stop these responses through willpower alone. They're involuntary, but you can influence them through body-based interventions. Psychologist Peter Levine's somatic experiencing work shows that completing the interrupted survival response helps. If you activated flight but couldn't run, your body is stuck in activation. Deliberately running or engaging large muscle groups can discharge that activation. If you activated fight but couldn't fight, vigorous exercise can complete the response cycle. The physical action your body prepared for, even if delayed, helps return your nervous system to baseline. Breathing directly affects the stress response. Psychologist Pierre Philippot found that slow diaphragmatic breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the rest and digest system that counteracts fight or flight. When you breathe slowly and deeply, you send a signal to your brainstem that you're safe. Your heart rate slows, blood pressure drops. The survival response begins deactivating. This isn't distraction or relaxation. It's direct neurobiological intervention. You're manually overriding the sympathetic activation by engaging the parasympathetic system. 6 breaths per minute is optimal. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Out for 6 seconds. This rhythm physiologically shifts your nervous system out of threat mode. Grounding techniques help with freeze response. When you're frozen, you feel disconnected from your body and surroundings. Psychologist Francine Shapiro's research on trauma processing shows that sensory grounding can help. Notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. This forces attention outward to sensory reality. It interrupts the freeze state by re-engaging with the present environment. The dissociation decreases. You come back into your body. The freeze response can then complete and release. Understanding that fight, flight, freeze, and fawn are involuntary survival responses changes how you interpret your reactions and others' reactions. When someone freezes during assault, they didn't choose not to fight. Their nervous system made an automatic decision. When you snap at someone in traffic, you didn't choose to be aggressive. Your fight response activated to a perceived threat. When you shut down during conflict, you didn't choose to withdraw. Your freeze response activated. These responses happen, you can't prevent them, but you can recognize them. You can work with your nervous system instead of fighting it. You can complete the response cycle safely. You can bring yourself back to baseline. You're not broken. Your survival system is working exactly as designed. It's just responding to threats your conscious mind knows aren't actually dangerous. And that's how the mind works. If this helped you understand yourself better, subscribe for weekly psychology insights. Thanks for watching.